Time is right.
Greetings from paradise. David Hartman, owner of Fantastic Endeavors Travel Agency. Welcome to the Enjoy the Journey Luxury Travel. After our break, I'm going to welcome our special guest, Captain Kevin Jeffries from First Down Charters, based here in Garden Cove by Shipwrecks in wonderful Key Largo, Florida. First, we're going to thank our sponsors, and then we're going to have Kevin on board after our break. And I do want to remind you, I'm the travel agent who has two questions. What is your bucket list trip? And where do you wish you were right now? And A1A Radio Network loves the patronage of our sponsors. The Health Genie System Checker answers three important questions when you are feeling ill. What is wrong with me? How ill am I? And where can I receive care? System Checker puts the information and answers at your fingertips with the most advanced triage and healthcare technologies available. Engage on a personal level in your own words to describe your symptoms with no smart trees or drop-down menus that force self-diagnosis. Health Genie System Checker provides an avenue to early healthcare engagement. Welcome back to the Enjoy the Journey Luxury Travel Show here on Radio A1A. Today's episode, live from the Florida Keys, talks about fishing in the Florida Keys. I myself have a very dear place in my heart for fishing. My dad, who's watching today, happy birthday, Dad. He was turned a nice ripe age last week. He taught me how to fish when I was young and taught me all the skills, and I brought that to the Florida Keys and fished down here. And becoming a very good friend of mine too, Captain Kevin Jeffries. Captain Kevin, welcome to the show. Thanks for being on. Come to the Florida Keys to be a fisherman?
And I was always an avid enthusiast and a big fan of fishing, and had my own boat and went 3-4 days a week, and just loved it and enjoyed it. And I think when locals started asking me if I'd take them fishing, I knew something was wrong. So they were from here, and I considered myself not from here. And when they started asking me to take them fishing, I knew it was time to go fishing.
Very nice. And where was home for you before the Keys?
I grew up in Western Canada, Dave, on the farm in the cold. So I traded hunting. I guess I did lots of fishing there as well. But I traded hunting and feeding cows at -40 to come to the Florida Keys, where the weather's always good and the water's always blue and there's lots of fish.
Excellent. And how long you been in the Florida Keys?
Yeah, 18 years now. I moved to Key Largo in 2003.
2003, yeah. I arrived in 2004 because of right behind you, so it's been an enjoyable time here. And how long have you been running First Down Charters?
About 11 years now, full time. Part time for a while before that, and just slowly worked my way into it, and now it's been full time for over 10 years.
That's impressive because down here it's a very competitive market for fishing. I mean, I'm also a scuba dive instructor and so many scuba dive operations, so many fishing operations. How did you decide to kind of take on being a charter boat captain here?
I mean, it's something that takes some time, and there's a little bit of you got to make a commitment because the time required to do it, and get a captain's license and all the licenses and so on, a boat. And my first boat was much smaller than what I have now. I had a 27-foot center console for a lot of years, and although that boat made it built my business, I don't have it anymore. But there's lots of days I miss it. But we've evolved and adapted into a bigger vessel now. So it's I guess. That's going to give you a chance to be successful on a regular basis.
Excellent words. I really appreciate that type of attitude when it comes to business. We really enjoyed our time out there. Now this is obviously with your bigger boat. So what type of boat is the boat now?
Yeah, it's a 36-foot Hatteras.
Hatteras.
Yeah, redone. How you've been on it, redone it top to bottom for the most part, and but it's an older hatter, so there's always work to do. I mean, I think that's part of charter fishing.
Yes. With bigger boats come bigger maintenance bills and a lot more time on maintenance.
That's correct.
We enjoyed our time out there. It was pretty much a full day charter the way you guys start early and end mid afternoon. And we caught a whole bunch of different fish. And for people watching the broadcast, either live or recorded, the pictures you're seeing, there's a combination of Kevin's customers' pictures, some first down charters. But there's also pictures that I took and my friends took. And you'll see my friend Tony and the guy with the Realtor fishing team. That's my dad's self-created fishing team. That's me. And I caught the two largest kingfish. And we caught a blackfin tuna. We caught triggerfish. We caught a whole bunch of different fish, and all very good tasting, by the way. That's the beauty of fishing.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kevin. But please comment.
That is the beauty of it. A lot of people, a lot of places you fish for other stuff, but it's not great to eat and stuff like that. But the beauty of Key Largo is we have a lot of tasty fish. Let's put it like that.
I totally agree. I grew up fishing the waters of the Long Island Sound off Connecticut, and sometimes deep sea off Montauk Point. And fish there is an acquired taste, like blackfish, bluefish. And then sometimes we catch a shark and things like that. I got some pictures here around that I didn't put into the feed, but I caught a 300-pound mako when I was young. I caught a 13-pound blue when I was real young. But definitely the fish in the Northeast is an acquired taste for most times compared to down here where it tastes so good.
Yeah.
So as far as fishing in the Keys, if someone wants to come down here, the question is, what can you fish for when? Is it depend on the day, or are there seasons if someone wants to catch a certain type of fish?
Yeah, I mean every day is different, Dave. But yeah, there's certainly seasons. Like right now on May 1st, our grouper season and our hogfish season opened. So we'll certainly chase the grouper for a couple of weeks here, just because when the season first opens, the fishing's pretty good for those. So we'll try to catch a lot of red grouper and black grouper the next 2 weeks. But as we get into mid-May, normally we start to blend into our dolphin season. We will, we'll mahi fish all summer, right through, if we're lucky, till the end of August at least.
Down here, I would say of the people who come here who don't know the area that well, like they want to either fish or eat mahi. Like the Keys is known for mahi, but we have so many other fishes. But I've not caught one, but some of the pictures, they get huge and they're fun to catch, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we consider mahi to be the perfect fish. It's relatively abundant. It's the fastest growing fish in the ocean, so it's almost a renewable resource. They grow so quickly. They become sexually mature at a very young age, probably a size of 14, 16 inches. They got to be 20 inches before we can harvest them. But at that size, they're growing an inch a week. So they're renewable. They grow so quickly. They're renewable resource. They're tasty. They're beautiful. The colors are amazing. It's like I say, it really is the perfect fish.
It's funny when I first moved here, like you did in the 03, 04 time frame. Whenever you go to a restaurant, it was like, what the fish of the day? What's fish of the day? Mahi or grouper. It's like every day the same thing. and I did love some have gone away because of pricing, but the all-you-can-eat mahi nights at either Shipwrecks or Concourse were always my favorite. A Shipwreck still has their all-you-can-eat mahi night, which is fantastic.
Yeah. Yes, it is. And around the moons in the summertime, we'll do a lot of snapper fishing, mutton snapper, yellowtail snapper. Late in the summer, around the moons, we'll do some Kumara snapper fishing, which are giant snappers, and not really common. And then our fall is still usually pretty good fishing, but we don't have a lot of clients here in the fall. It's kind of our slow season. And then, it starts to pick up around Christmas, and by then we're mostly live baiting on the edge of the reef for sailfish and tuna. Ultimately, it's live bait, so you can catch whatever comes along, but we'll be targeting sailfish primarily.
Sailfish, very nice. I hear I've not caught one, but I hear that's like every sportsman's dream to catch a sailfish because it's so exciting to catch.
Yeah, I mean, any billfish we consider a prize to catch. And certain times of year we have a lot of them here in the Keys. We've had a really good run of them here the last month, and kind of a late season run. And it's like anything else. It's a very active fish, the fastest fish in the ocean. So they take drag like crazy. We catch them on light tackle, and then they jump and fight and put on a show. It's pretty exciting fishing for sure.
Someday I'm going to come out with you and catch a sailfish. It just seems it is the fastest fish in the ocean. So
we got one yesterday. It was kind of slow yesterday, but we did get one first thing in the morning, and then caught some snappers and groupers and stuff like that the rest of the day.
Fantastic. Now, if someone comes down here and say they want to catch a specific type of fish, what do you tell them if they're not in season? You just talk them out of it, or just tell them what the deal is?
I'm pretty honest fishing captain, Dave. I'm going to tell them the truth. I'm going to say, we could go spend all day doing that, and maybe you can.
It's almighty. I've caught in a 300-pound mako with my dad. It was a team effort, and it was amazing. Not the best fishing day. It was a horrible day of just weather and getting the fish in, but it was amazing. But I almost enjoy the days when I caught like 20 bluefish with my dad growing up, or the day fishing with you was just fantastic because it was nonstop excitement, and everyone caught fish and everyone was good, and you guys were fantastic at it. And as you said that we can DJ your boat anytime.
Exactly.
Yeah, but my friends have a very good playlist, and that's what I like about the Keys. I did fish when I first moved here off of charter. And again, those who are listening, the Keys has really two kinds of fishing. We have this bay side, which is more shallow water, flats boats. And we also have deep sea fishing, which could have big game fishing, but our schooling fish, our reef fish, our pelagics, which is our free flowing fish in the open ocean. So what Kevin specializes is in the deep water charters. The 36-foot Hatteras goes to all different areas of the reefs in deep water. And in that water, but you can have all sorts of fish and all sizes of fish. It doesn't have to be just billfish or just sharks or things like that. So as you see these pictures shown up, my friends and I caught 4 different species. I think it was 2 kingfish and 6 fish altogether. And all of them were fun, and all of them were great tasting. So it's nice to have a specialty, and I appreciate the specialty you're in because you have a lot of diversity. You can satisfy any client.
Yeah, that's the beauty of fishing in the Florida Keys too. In my opinion, you can go chase one fish, and if the conditions aren't right and the situation isn't right and they're not biting, go find another kind of fish to chase. There's so many options that you just got to find one that the conditions are lining up for, if you will, and are correct for, and you'll usually find some fish. So it's kind of the beauty of being where we are. We have so many options, from trolling lures and stuff like that to live baiting to bottom fishing to reef fishing. There's just there's so many options. It's kind of the beauty of being in the Florida Keys.
Exactly. And one thing we have that I didn't have growing up is we have geography. We are close to the Gulf Stream. It's right offshore. Sometimes you literally are in the Gulf Stream fishing. And that just brings in this nutrient water and schools of fish sometimes. And it's such a benefit to have for fishing, correct?
Yeah, exactly. That's it. We're the second closest place on the East Coast to the Gulf Stream. And, there are many days that the Gulf Stream is, less than a mile off the edge of the reef. So the edge of that Gulf Stream holds bait and holds fish and gives us a lot of opportunities, especially for pelagics in that situation. Your dolphin, wahoo, tuna, and billfish, from sailfish, and even any. A lot of places you'll fish, you'll run 30, 40, 50, 60, even 80 miles out to the canyons and stuff. In a lot of locations. And here in Key Largo, there's plenty of days we don't go past, 6 or 7 miles.
That is beautiful. I mean, I remember going with my dad to catch a shark off Montauk, New York, Long Island. It'd be a 2 hour run in our 20-foot Grady White boat to Montauk to gas up. And then it go maybe another 2 hours to the fishing grounds, either tuna or sharks. The canyon wasn't on our list. It was never going to happen. That's like an overnight trip. And you could have 8, 10 foot swells as a calm day out there off Montauk.
Yeah.
So here, trust me, folks that are listening that don't know the area, it is a luxury to fish down here. It is, it is still fishing. It is still challenging, but on a charter, say a full or half day, you can do a lot, and because you don't have to go very far. Speaking of which, what is the advantage of a full day versus a half day charter?
I mean, it's like anything else. Like I said, one of the beauties of being fishing in the Florida Keys is we have so many options. So if you go out and target one species and you're not successful, you can make a change and try something else. On a half day, hopefully you're able to find something pretty quickly. That's the only downfall of a half day is if you don't find something pretty quickly, you've got time for maybe try a couple of things. The beauty of a full day is you can try multiple things, maybe even try 3 or 4 different types of fishing, find something that's working. You're also on an 8-hour trip. You're going to get a full tide change. Sometimes the tides affect the bite, considerably. So you're able to fish a low tide and a high tide, and probably a slack on both ends and a hard moving tide in the middle. So it gives you the opportunity to fish, fish a full set of tides, and which increases your chance of success.
Excellent, because that's a good point about the tides. Because I know I fish off my kayak here. I fortunately live off the mangrove trails of John Penny Camp Park, and of late I've been fishing on Sundays off my kayak, and it's a major difference when the tide's really pushing the water. And where I grew up in Connecticut, again on slack tide, you'd catch nothing. It just doesn't do what it can to school the fish up. So excellent point. So if you guys come down and see Kevin, make sure you book a full day charter. So we got some questions incoming via the chat box. Maybe Tony kind of threw one in on us. Let's see. Oh, Captain, what is your favorite fish to catch personally?
I'm probably wahoo and tuna, and I think maybe it's just because I like to eat so much. They're probably my favorite. I love samahi wahoo and samahi tuna, so I do really enjoy that. They're probably my favorite, but that's a tough one for me. I love our summertime dolphin fishing just because of the running and chasing them and the catching them, and they're still good to eat and stuff like that. It's really tough to pin it down to one thing. There's nothing like going out and catching billfish, the excitement and the size of the fish and stuff like that. So it's tough to narrow it down, but I probably do prefer wahoo and tuna fishing just for the table fare.
Good choices. I noticed in one of the pictures that we have streaming right now throughout the show that you gave me, I think maybe I stole it from your Facebook page, was with you and a huge hogfish. Now, I will say when I go out down here, someone's like, hey, so it's our best tasting fish. Actually, in scuba diving, our signal is we rub our tummies underwater, and that's the signal for hogfish.
Yeah, I mean, that could be the tastiest fish that you'll ever cook. Hogfish is amazing, and they're getting a little harder to find, and they've really changed our regulations here a lot in the last few years. We used to spend a lot of time, especially in the fall and early winter, catching them on shallow patch reefs. At the time we were allowed to keep 5 a person. They only had to be 12 inches, and now they changed the rules. They're closed half the year. The season used to be open year round. Now it's closed half the year. It just opened here May 1st, I believe. And we're only allowed 1 a person, and they got to be much bigger to keep. It's still fun to catch one. It's still exciting. It's just due to the rule changes, we don't do it near as much as we used to. But it is probably the tastiest fish you'll ever put in your mouth.
I agree 100%, Captain. So speaking of regulations, we got another chat question I was kind of holding on to this one because I wanted to wait to talk about regulations. So the question is it from Ohio? Maybe it's Justin. Hey, do customers need a Florida fishing license to fish off your boat?
No, sir. Our all you need to bring is anything you want to eat or drink. Everything else is supplied by us. The bait, the fishing license. We have a what's called a group charter fishing license allowed.
Okay.
Anybody on the boat, and they're covered under our license.
Excellent answer. So one less thing they have to worry about, because if people had to run out and get fishing licenses, so that's just one more thing they have to do. And I will say from personal experience, Captain Kevin runs a full service charter. Very impressive. The mate, I forget the mate's name. I totally apologize. What was your mate's name at the time?
I believe it was Corey.
Corey was fantastic. We have pictures in the feed of showing him, which I always love, catching the live bait, catching the ballyhoo. And his use of a net was just unbelievable. I have that one picture in the feed where he has the whole net kind of spread out catching fish. It was so much fun. But yeah, we just showed up and brought our phones for playlists, and that was about it. I mean, you guys did everything, and as always, you flayed the fish afterwards, which was easy. Going on the feed, it's coming. I just saw the boat. It's a 36-foot Hatteras.
Shipwrecks restaurant between Horizon Divers and the Shipwrecks Bar and Grill. It's a small little marina, maybe a dozen boats there or something like that. But it's a really unique location. One of the few I'm going to say Keysy locations left in the Florida Keys. It's a little bit out of the way, a little bit off the grid, and a little bit rustic, if you will. But it's perfect access to the Atlantic side of the islands here. We're 100 yards from open water, and as far as a location goes to go offshore fishing, it's perfect.
It is, because some boats here, especially I'm more involved with the dive industry here because I'm teaching for years. I mean, it's a good 40 minutes to get out to the dive site. There, it's like boom, you're out in the open ocean immediately. And the best part is when you get back from your full day charter, Captain Jeffries, you have Shipwrecks for early happy hour, and to celebrate your big catch of the day.
Yeah, early happy hour and cook your catch so you can get happy hour and get them to cook up some of your fish that you catch that day.
And I would say Shipwrecks here is probably one of our most Keysy type restaurants. I mean, they're so eclectic. I just love them. Excellent food and so affordable. I mean, they have excellent beer on tap, and it's really affordable. And what's nice about your operation, because I've been to some other parts of Florida fish and dive, you park one place, the boat's another place. You pull up and park right by the boat, and Shipwrecks is right there. It is all so convenient.
Yeah, there's about, can't be more than about 80 yards there from one end to the other, and like I say, it's small and it's Keysy, and we're running out of those kinds of places.
Facebook, whatever you got out there for ways people to learn more about your charter.
Yeah, we're First Down Charters, and I'll start with the phone numbers 305-409-4789. But you can find us on the gram at first_down_charters. We're also on the web at firstdowncharters.com. You can find us on Facebook. We're anywhere and everywhere. I'm kind of I hate to say this, kind of a low tech redneck. I'm probably not. I probably should post a lot more stuff than I do, but time constraints in the day and my lack of electronic skills, let's call them, make it so I don't post as much stuff as I should. But you'll just have to believe me that we go out there regularly and we have a pretty darn good time.
You do, and it's absolutely fantastic boat. It is a pure fishing boat, very comfortable, and is built for fishing. Please check Kevin out. Give him a call. Schedule a time. The Keys are going to reopen soon, and fishing going to be ready. Kevin, I can't say enough. I know you're busy. Thank you for joining us today, and we'll definitely be fishing again soon.
Dave, thank you. I appreciate it very much. And let's get out. Let's get out again as soon as you have time, Dave.
Sounds great. Safe travels, my friend, and we'll talk soon. Everyone, thank you for joining us. We're going to take a break. When we get back, we have Michael Marinelli, the real estate con, going to talk about his history fishing in the Florida Keys and what's happening in real estate right now. We'll be right back. Genie System Checker answers 3 important questions when you are feeling ill. What is wrong with me? How ill am I? And where can I receive care? System Checker puts the information and answers at your fingertips with the most advanced triage and healthcare technologies available. Engage on a personal level in your own words to describe your symptoms with no smart trees or drop-down menus that force self-diagnosis. Health Genie System Checker provides an avenue to early healthcare engagement. Hello, David Hartman with Fantastic Endeavors. Fantastic Endeavors is a full-service travel agency based in Key Largo, Florida, specializing in custom individual and group travel. Our luxury travel advisors inspire people to answer 2 questions. What is your bucket list trip? And where do you wish you were right now? Fantastic Endeavors will personally tailor your journey to your needs. We build extraordinary, enriching experiences curated just for you. Call us today at 305-453-9208 or email at dave@bucketwishtrip.com. Enjoy the journey. Hello, David Hartman with Fantastic Endeavors. Fantastic Endeavors is a full-service travel agency based in Key Largo, Florida, specializing in custom individual and group travel. Our luxury travel advisors inspire people to answer 2 questions. What is your bucket list trip? And where do you wish you were right now? Fantastic Endeavors will personally tailor your journey to your needs. We build extraordinary, enriching experiences curated just for you. Call us today at 305-453-9208 or email at dave@bucketwishtrip.com. Enjoy the journey.
Welcome back, everyone, to Enjoy the Journey Luxury Travel Show on Radio A1A, Cruising Country Radio, and, of course, the A1A Media Network. And now, here's David Hartman. Hello, David.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Hope you're all enjoying our fishing theme show, Fishing in the Florida Keys. Really enjoyed having Captain Kevin Jeffries on the show. His operation is first rate. There's a lot of charter boat captains in the Keys, and Kevin is definitely one of them. And up next, we're going to have another avid fisherman. His first love is obviously real estate. Actually, his first love is probably fishing, but also he's an excellent real estate agent. He's coming on shortly. And I want to thank Kevin again because the time we took to go out in November was an extra special trip. I don't often get on charters here for fishing. And, it's an expense like anything else down here. And our friends were really gung ho on it. My friend Tony and his cousin Justin were really gung ho about doing a full charter in the Keys. And I said, I got the man. I just recently met Kevin, but liked his operation. So we're going to check him out. And he did a fantastic job. And as you saw during the show, the pictures we streamed, I caught the biggest fish. Thank you very much. About a 4-foot kingfish. And they all were good fighting. Nothing huge, nothing mountable, but that's not why you fish in the Keys. You fish to catch good fish. And we all caught something. We all had fun. And again, as I mentioned in the show, just can't say enough about the professionalism of the operation. The mate was fantastic. Kevin knows his stuff. He knew where to take us. He definitely kept tabs on what we wanted to do. It wasn't just all about, hey, I'm the captain. It's going to be my way. And we really, really had a good time. So Michael's still kind of waiting to get on. He'll be on in a few seconds. And I know Michael from his time. I was on Michael's show, if anyone remembers. I was promoting on Facebook back in February, back when you could do live remotes from the Bug Pub in the Rain Barrel in Almirada. I missed the Bug Pub. My show ideally will be streamed from there in the near future as we're starting to reopen Florida starting today. And Michael has a fantastic real estate show called the Florida Keys Real Estate Conch, and you can find him at realestateconch.com. And he had me appear when he heard I was working to launch a show on this network. He's been with Harry and the Harry T for the GM of A1A Radio and the A1A Radio Network. And he has always done a real estate show, which has a big following. And I appreciate Michael letting me get on his show. And I got my first exposure there, and also really like the venue. So when this show does come from virtual in our houses, it will be broadcast live in the Bug Pub or on location elsewhere too. But the home will be the Bug Pub. I love the people there and love the Rain Barrel, and I do appreciate Michael's hair. I don't see Michael in yet. Hopefully he'll be popping in any second. If not, we will keep chatting about fishing in the Florida Keys. So my favorite fish, as you heard in this show, was a hogfish. It's mostly caught on rod and reel or spear gun. It's not commercial fish, so restaurants don't always have hogfish available on the menu. So when you do see it, order it. That's my mantra down here. And just wonderful tasting. You can prepare it 8 different ways. We also have a fish called the yellowtail. It doesn't get very big. And the fishing photos are still being shown from my time on First Down Charters and Captain Kevin Jeffries.
That question mark is actually supposed to be Michael, waiting on Michael. So can you hear me okay, Dave? I wanted to say I'm seeing some comments also. I'm scared of fly fishing. Is that something I need to learn if I come to the Keys?
You don't have to be a fly fisherman for our fishing down here, although fly fishermen who are avid can fish on the bayside from flats boats. You can do very well catching snook, bonefish, and sea trout with one of our many charters from a flats boat, mostly from Almirada, and a little bit in Key Largo. So fly fishermen can't come. You don't have to fly fishermen to fish in the Florida Keys. Great question.
I am a old, you call it what's called a brackish water fisherman on the upper Gulf Coast, and when you come to the Keys are kind of very intelligent. They've been caught a few times, and they can see you because the water is gin clear. So the techniques, how fast does it take to learn how to really catch a cool fish down here?
How long does it take? Well, it depends on the fish.
No, how long does it take you to learn how to get used to the environment? The Keys are very different,
Yeah, I will say when I first did a charter in 2004, when I first moved here, my dad came down to visit my new house, and we went out, and I said, well, fishing here is much different, at least deep sea, than elsewhere. I have not done much of the shallow water bayside fishing. And I do know it's a little different. In some ways it's easier, but in some ways it's different. Like I remember my first time I had a the fish.
Amberjack.
I'm just checking on a message from.
Yeah, from Michael. Yeah, we are, of course, this is a live show, and you are broadcasting right now on Radio A1A, Cruising Country Radio, and, of course, the A1A Media Network channels.
Yes, thank you all. Thank you all for joining us today. So Harry's working with Michael to get him on, as in the virtual environment. Any of you who are struggling with Zoom, there he is. Hey.
Hey, Michael.
We were just talking about favorite fish, and here's a good question from Michael since he grew up down here. And obviously we're having you on now because I already talked about. And thank you again for having me on when my show is just an idea. And thank you for my future venue because I love the Bug Pub, but my first show was virtual.
That's awesome.
All my shows have been virtual because of you know what. So, but when
yes, we do
go live remote, it will be at the Bug Pub. Thanks to you and your introduction to Bianca and Gary and the wonderful people.
Great folks. Love that location, and it's been a great home for our A1A broadcasts.
So this is Michael Marinelli.
Hello, everyone.
Go ahead and introduce yourself, who you are. Obviously, the area and the people on this network know you, but I also have new followers and me following. So please tell us who you are.
Absolutely. Pleasure. First off, thank you so much for having me on your show. My name is Michael Marinelli. I'm with American Caribbean Real Estate. I've been a real estate professional down here in South Florida for over 25 years, and most of which has been practicing here in the Florida Keys. And that is not a virtual backdrop. We're actually here in Layton, Florida. That's my boat, the Conquistador, behind us. Layton is one of the really sleepy, great values in the Florida Keys. And it's been my privilege to be able to share not only real estate in the Florida Keys, but our Florida Keys lifestyle. Because I've always told a lot of folks I really don't sell homes. What I sell is our phenomenal Florida Keys lifestyle that David does as well. So it's a privilege to be able to help folks capitalize on their island dreams.
I agree, and because it is all about the lifestyle down here. And when I first moved here, everyone goes, "What the Keys all about?" You know, fishing, drinking, and diving. Not always in that order. Exactly. I came for the diving. I mean, I grew up. My story is I told the beginning of the show before Kevin had his wonderful appearance. Yeah. So my dad is a born fisherman, and he bred it upon us and taught us how to fish. But he taught us Northeast fishing. But in our time, we caught some very big fish, and I still fish with him today. He's over in Naples. Hello, Daddy is listening, and he works at Bass Pro Shops. And he works at the Bass Pro Shops over in Fort Myers over there. He still
awesome.
Still loves fishing and still go out with him. But I didn't realize my first charter down here in 2004, fishing here is different.
Oh, yeah. It's different than in Miami.
Really?
Absolutely. Even in Miami and Broward County, it's a whole different type of fishing here, because realize when you're in Dade and Broward County, which for those folks who are not aware, those are the counties just to the north of us on the mainland, the reef is a lot closer. I said the drop-off is a lot closer to the inlet, and they don't have as much reef. So you don't have to go more than maybe a mile or two out before you start getting to deep water. Here, you go 5 miles out, and there's a lot of patch reefs, and that patch reef are just like a jungle, or it's like an oasis in the desert that's just full of life. And that's where all of our fish love to congregate. And that's what makes fishing in the Florida Keys so great, because while you've got deep water stuff off Miami, shallow water stuff, and by shallow, I mean 50 feet and under, of great fishing. And that's where you got a tremendous amount of grouper, you've got snappers, you got just the whole gamut of fish all the way in that area. And especially like we were talking about charters, you don't need to go too far to catch some amazing fish.
And that is a huge benefit, because I remember going for big stuff, big game off of New York. I mean, it was always a couple hours and probably rough weather. So here most times it's very calm, beautiful, gorgeous day, like today. Like you see it, like I see him in Michael's Zoom virtual backdrop, not. And it is a wonderful backdrop there. So I see your boat behind you. Are Hey, see, this is live, not Memorex, folks. No, no,
Around the Keys all my life. My family has had ties here since basically the 1950s. So, it's been amazing to watch the evolution of the Keys in, let's say, the last 50, 60 years, and see where we've gone and where we're going. And I'm proud to be able to help new folks and some folks who've been here a long time find and target their new homes.
exactly. Because what you do is real estate. And as I told you,
Yeah.
I grew up in a real estate household. My dad, who's listening, who taught me fishing, was in real estate for over 40 years.
Right.
He actually had his own real estate office called Hartman and Hulteen Real Estate in Cheshire,
Wow.
Connecticut. And
Yeah, I
he
saw your
started-
shirt. It said Real Tour, your fishing shirt.
That is my dad's self-created fishing team.
Very
And,
cool.
Well, once we caught a 294-pound mako and won a shark tournament. My dad had to create sure. I think he already had a team in mind, but after that, we became official. So, by the way, Michael, to be impressed, we were a 20-foot Grady White, by far the smallest boat in the tournament by at least 6-7 feet. And we caught the biggest shark and biggest mako, won like $2,000 and a couple Penn reels. And the next year we go back to defend our title, and they raised the minimum boat size to 24 feet. We got blackballed from defending our title.
No doubt. We didn't want to be shown up again.
We came in and to the area in Star Island Marina in Montauk, New York, and we pulled in with 5 guys packed on this boat with our little dog Taffy, a half Pekingese, half Beagle. I mean, we were disheveled. Everyone's laughing at us until we turned our stern to the way station.
Right.
And then the jaw dropped and there was the big fish. So.
Sure.
So, Michael, for you down here for fishing, are you more of a deep water or bayside?
No, I'm a reef guy, and same with my wife. Occasionally we go on the bay backcountry, but I'd say 80% of the time when we go out, we're going from shore to about 5 miles out, which is anywhere from about 10 feet to about 50 to 60 feet. That's our target zone. Yesterday we were fishing in 10 feet of water. One of my favorite spots. That is, in 2 hours, I think we caught about 20 fish and we brought 10 home.
Fantastic. That's a good day of fishing. And
that's only in 10 or 12 feet of water, and those were all legal fish. So, you never know what you're going to find here. It's kind of like the Forrest Gump here in the Florida Keys. You eat like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to find when you come there. And one of the fun things too, I think we had about 7 different species of fish that we brought to the boat. So, it's really, really cool when you're down here fishing, and fishing is such a part of our lifestyle that plays again into our real estate. Why are you down here? What do you like? Because that might determine, as you well know, if you're a backcountry guy, you're probably going to be on the bay. If you're a hardcore ocean guy and you're on the bay, it's going to take you a long time to get through one of the cuts and get out there. So you're probably going to want to be on the ocean.
Exactly. And you actually preempted my question is like, if someone says, hey, I want to live in the Keys, where do I live for certain things? You're going to ask, what type of fishing do you do?
Right. Or are you a diver? Or are you a snorkeler? I mean, what's important? You want to look at the ocean, or see sunsets. So it really varies everybody's Florida Keys experience. And that's one of the fun things to do is targeting the right property. It's almost like a fishing guide in a way. It's targeting the right property to those particular clientele.
I agree. Absolutely. So as far as real estate right now, how are things in the Keys? Obviously, we're still closed to visitors here, but how's the real estate market?
It's interesting. We're seeing, of course, where it's affected. Every place is affected. But we, and especially I'm very proud of my firm, I think we've been really at the forefront of adapting to what we call the new normal. We were already starting to do virtual walkthroughs quite a while. I've been doing FaceTime tours for years. There's a lot of things that we're able to still communicate our properties to, even though we're not able to get those folks to come into the Florida Keys. I just did a virtual open house last week. That was really, really well, where I broadcast it on Facebook, broadcast it on Instagram. So we're finding ways to challenge the circumstances that we're in. That being said, I think the Florida Keys are poised for an incredible rebound after things come back. Reason being is everyone has realized that working from home is a real possibility. For long times, it was a nice idea. My industry learned to work from home for a long time, probably years as well. But there
yes.
are other industries that you really thought, we got to be in the office. Well, that's not necessarily true anymore. We've learned to adapt. So if you don't need to be in Philadelphia, you don't need to be in Chicago, you don't need to be anywhere where you're shoveling snow and you can work from home, why don't you want to make the Florida Keys home?
Good point. And that is true. See, I moved down here because I am home based. I've always been home based for my business. So it was easy. Now, I first bought a house as a second home, as a scuba dive house, again, because I wanted a house on the ocean side to be scuba diving. But then I moved here. I work from home already. So all these people saying they love working from home, like, or Dave, how's your self-quarantine going? I go, that's my life. My life is
Listen, I know some folks up in Miami. They're with a very, very large, like Fortune 500 company. They have 700 people in their office, okay, in Miami. All of them needed to go work from home. And you know what? They managed, and they're doing well. And the company is still rolling on. So it shows you, like everything, where there's a will, there's a way, and where there's a need, you find it. But I think people are realizing, wait a minute, we don't necessarily need to be in the office. I think you're going to really see, not so much affecting the Keys, but I think nationwide, you're going to see commercial office space, real estate. That's going to take a major hit because companies are going to realize we don't need so much office space. More and more people can work from home. And again, if I can have someone really good on my team, even though my office is in Chicago, but they're based in the Florida Keys and they're the best person for the job, I'm going to hire them. And that person can be in the Florida Keys avoiding state income tax, also have low property taxes, and there's just a boon. And by the way, go out fishing after work. So why would you want to call this actually your permanent home? And I think we're going to start seeing a lot of people realize that's a real game changer.
Yes, and for someone who does have to travel on occasion, I know when I moved here, I saw the business in Virginia with a house there.
Right.
I had to commute quite a bit.
Sure.
Missing Key Largo, you're an hour from Miami, hour and 20 from Fort Lauderdale. You can still get away once travel returns, obviously. Flights and sure. Back. I mean, I will say, I drove to Almirada and just that half-hour drive for me personally. I was like, okay, this is too far from the airport. That was just me. But
right.
If you don't mind an hour commute to the airport, you could live here and still go to see your main office when you need to.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That was a big selling point for me.
That's one of the beautiful things, especially if you're looking in the, let's say, the upper Keys, which is Alamorada, Key Largo, mile marker basically 70 to 108. That gets you into really close proximity to Miami International Airport, or even Fort Lauderdale, which is where I like to fly out of, as you well know. I think it's a lot easier. Even that's still only an extra half hour if you really think about it. So, your travel options are very easy. The living is like no other. And the value here, real estate-wise, is to me one of the best waterfront values anywhere in the nation.
I agree. I own a canal front home, and the value has just always gone up. I mean, we had that crazy peak in 06, 07 was artificial, but besides that, my house is doing fine because.
And a lot of people are thinking that because of this coronavirus, oh my God, things are pennies on the dollar. On contrary, what we've been seeing, properties going under contract while this is happening, and even some of the closing price, not only are they stable, they're starting to go even almost the other way. Our inventory is dropping, and when you have less inventory and still have demand, what does that do? That can possibly bring the prices up. So I'm telling buyers, hey, if you're still serious, let's get you a property. You can, and now especially they have a major significant thing that just happened a couple of days ago is Monroe County is now letting buyers who have a contract on a property in for inspections, which means I've been showing you these properties online, what have you. You say, that looks like a great property. Let's put a contract. Let's negotiate it. You get it under contract. Now you can come visit the property, inspect it. If you like it, you still move on with the contract. If you don't, since our properties are as is and there's an inspection period, then you don't cancel the property. It's not what you really thought it would be. So a smart buyer is going to take advantage of that unique situation. And I would say get a property before things start really opening up and everybody starts rushing here. And what does that do? Now, limited supply, great demand, prices will go up.
Excellent point again. So the Keys are open for real estate. If you have a scheduled appointment, I did not know that. So, and by the way, I appreciate your updates because you're going crazy on Facebook Live. You're at the checkpoint. You're here, you're there. And you have even a new website URL to kind of keep people informed, correct?
Thank you for mentioning that, David. It's called coronaandthekeys.com. Corona and the Keys. So, COVID, I'm sorry, with all these different things. COVIDandthekeys.com. And in there, I kind of really go in an in-depth overview of where our Florida Keys market, real estate market is, and where I think it's going. And actually, now that we've come into the new month of April, I'm going to be updating those numbers within this week. So that's going to be an ongoing report. So when people want to come in and kind of take a look and see what's happening, this will give them a great perspective. And so you can not only to separate the myth from the reality, and that'll give them great insight.
And you've been doing a great job of that on Facebook. Michael's very big on social media. He does have the show on A1A Radio, and he definitely knows his trade. And I like about Michael, he grew up down here. He knows the Keys cold, and he knows everyone in the Keys. He's like another mayor of the Keys. So,
now, someone else has that job. I'm good at that. I just want to sell real estate.
So before I let you
and
go,
introduce people to their great lifestyle, just like you do.
Excellent. Before you go, one last fishing question. Do you have a favorite fish to catch?
Oh, absolutely. The one and only. And that's why we've been out the last couple of days. Grouper. And it just opened up on the 1st. We got a couple smaller ones. Red grouper has to be 20 inches. We got one the other day that was 18 and a half. We got a 17. So I'm still trying to catch my first legal grouper of the season, but that's by far my absolute favorite fish. Any style of grouper is delicious. Certain ones you can't take, like the Goliath groupers or Nassau's, but the other ones are absolutely delicious that you can bring to the boat. And we just opened up season, so I'm really excited.
Well, good luck fishing for that keeper grouper. Good choice. I absolutely agree. Grouper is fantastic. Michael, before you go, because we're wrapping up here soon, please tell us how to find you on Facebook, how to get a hold of you to learn about real estate in the Keys.
You know, like I said, like you, I'm pretty much all over social media. All you got to do is just go into Google or whatever your browser is, type in Michael Marinelli. But on Facebook, I've got a couple great destinations. One is called the Florida Keys Real Estate Guy, which is the name of my show here on Radio A1A, A1A Media. We're going to be coming back probably in about a week or so doing our show. You can also find me on Instagram under The Real Estate Comp or Florida Keys Real Estate Pro.
Yay.
I've also created a Facebook. Yeah.
Yay.
I've also created a.
You're coming
I've also
back.
Created a. Yes. We're gonna be coming on back probably. Harry and I are gonna work on some stuff. I'm hoping maybe in about another week or two.
Absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, we've also got a group on Facebook called Florida Keys Real Estate, and there it's the collective not only of myself and agents in my company, but agents throughout the Keys that we're all putting our properties on there. It's kind of a collective, so it's a great destination for people to check out as well. I'm also one of the few agents down here on TikTok. So
very nice. TikTok.
It's kind of fun seeing my properties there. So I'm everywhere. Find me. I guess if you want to give me a call, 305-439-7730. And I encourage you to go to my report again, which is covidandthekeys.com.
Excellent URL. And keep in mind, when you search Michael, it's Mykael, Marinelli. So great having you on the show, Michael. We're going to wrap up in a few minutes. Pleasure having you. I'm glad I returned the favor, and we'll definitely be on your show again soon.
Sounds good. I look forward to having you on again, David.
Thanks, Michael. So before we go today, our fishing show, thank you for joining us. Just a couple updates and notes. The Florida Keys are currently still closed to visitors, but as Michael said, if you work with a local real estate agent and have an inspection appointment scheduled, you can get access to the Keys. And Florida starts reopening today. That's good news. Depends on the county, depends on where you're in, but please check with local officials because the Florida Keys is starting our process of getting back on track. So good news there. And I'm looking forward to one day doing this show from the Bug Pub. So to get a hold of me to stay in the Florida Keys or elsewhere, remember I'm a full service travel agent that includes all cruise lines, all inclusive resorts, tours, custom trips worldwide. Because what is that bucket list trip and where do you wish you're right now? Again, happy Monday to everyone. Thank you for joining us today on the Enjoying the Journey Travel.
Tiki bars are playing Marley in the Keys. Come on, what are you waiting for? They're serving rum up and right next door. There's a party on the sandbar in the Keys.
This has been the live broadcast of Enjoy the Journey with David Hartman. Tune in every Monday at 2 o'clock